You open an app for one specific task, and an hour vanishes. You emerge with heavy brain fog, your thoughts shattering into fragments. A restless mental state researchers describe as popcorn brain. Memory feels like a sieve. You walk into a kitchen, and the reason for the journey simply evaporates. Even reading a single long paragraph starts to feel like physical torture as your eyes itch and your hand reaches instinctively for the phone. We often hear that human attention spans have dropped to 8 seconds, supposedly making us less focused than a goldfish. However, that specific claim originated in a corporate marketing report and has no basis in actual peer-reviewed science. The real danger is a documented phenomenon called digital dementia. Neurologists use the term to describe a specific deterioration of cognitive abilities that mirrors the symptoms of a traumatic head injury. Our internal machinery for focus remains intact. The struggle we feel is a predictable result of a survival-coded brain operating within an intensely hostile digital environment. This panic over technology is an ancient cycle. Socrates famously warned that the invention of writing would destroy human memory, leading people to rely on external symbols rather than internal knowledge. By the 4th century, Christian monks were writing extensively about acedia, a restless, distracted state of mind that prevented them from sitting still or focusing on their spiritual work. While the fear of distraction is old, the scale of the current threat is new. For the first time, our ancient biology is pitted directly against supercomputers designed by thousands of engineers to harvest our attention. The human brain hasn't failed or mutated. It is a perfectly evolved survival tool, currently placed inside an entirely unnatural ecosystem. Evolutionary biology provides a framework for this behavior called optimal foraging theory, which explains how all animals decide where to spend their energy. A bee must decide when to exploit a flower cluster, and when rewards drop low enough to explore a new meadow. Your brain applies this same algorithm. Reading a book is a high-effort exploit mode, while swiping a feed is a low-effort explore mode. Historically, information was scarce. Our survival depended on heavily exploiting whatever resources we found. We were wired to go deep, because the next meadow was miles away. Modern digital feeds act as an infinite meadow of abundant high-sugar data. They trigger variable dopamine loops, keeping the brain locked in permanent explore mode, searching for the next quick hit of novelty. Scrolling for hours is the biologically correct response to an environment artificially flooded with high-reward signals. Your brain is simply executing its survival code. Every time you move your attention from one task to another, you pay a switch cost. This is the mental energy required to reorient the brain to a new context. The frictionless design of modern apps makes these transitions happen hundreds of times per session. Because switching requires zero effort, we lose the friction that normally keeps us focused. Watch how the prefrontal cortex struggles under this load. As context switches increase, its activity dims, exhausting working memory. Long-term, this has physical consequences. High-intensity short-form video use correlates with a measurable loss of gray matter, effectively accelerating the brain's cognitive aging. The attention economy creates a state of cognitive bankruptcy, physically eroding our capacity for logic, problem-solving, and rational thought. Because tech companies exploit baseline biology, relying on raw willpower fails by design. Real change requires treating attention like a systemic environmental problem. Cognitive recovery begins with the analog anchor, the practice of physically removing digital triggers from your field of vision during work. Data shows that merely having a smartphone on your desk drains cognitive capacity. Part of the brain remains tethered to the device, even when it is powered off and face down. When the urge to scroll becomes overwhelming, use a 5-minute interrupt. Set a timer and focus purely on your breath. This brief pause resets the nervous system and allows the chemical craving for novelty to subside. Strip away digital friction by setting screens to grayscale and establishing a phone bedtime. Charging your device in a separate room ensures the brain's explore mode isn't triggered before you sleep. Systematically removing these environmental triggers starves the algorithm of its variable rewards, allowing the brain to exit a state of chronic hyperarousal. Rebuilding an atrophied attention span requires high-friction learning, tasks that offer slow rewards, such as reading a physical book or learning a new instrument. To restore working memory, utilize the Feynman flush. After learning a new concept, put the phone in another room and explain the idea out loud to an empty room for 2 minutes. This active recall signals to the brain that the data is a priority. Over time, this practice strengthens the myelin sheaths and rebuilds the density of the prefrontal cortex. Focus follows the architecture of our environment. By systematically starving the algorithm, we rebuild our internal biology and reclaim our cognitive potential.